Badawi is a Syrian activist with the group Raqqa is being slaughtered silently, which he co-founded. We're not using his actual name. He has to remain anonymous, obviously, for his own safety. He joins me now on the phone from Syria tonight. Thank you very much for speaking with us. Can you just describe for us what daily life is like under ISIS rule?
Thank you. Yes, the life under the city of Raqqa, it's very hard to live, especially for the civilians. I'm not talking about how the life is for the ISIS fighters. It's the life of the people of Raqqa, because there is two different lives for the life inside the city. So the people, there is a very, very strong.
They are doing the most horrendous, the most heartbreaking crimes that you can think of. Bravo told CNN that ISIS thugs are absolutely killing every Christian they see. This is absolutely a genocide in every sense of the word. They want everyone to convert, and they want Sharia law to be the law of the land. The Muslims under ISIS are literally following the teaching of Muhammad in Quran chapter 9, 5-33, fighting the non-Muslims and subdue them by forced conversion, or pay jizya tax, or be killed by the sword, or handgun. Israel has the rights to defend the nation, and Christians in Iraq have the rights of existence to defend.
You are making anything that ISIS don't want to do, to show it to the world, or not to want to do it, they will kill you for that. Also, the people are really suffering because ISIS closes all the organization that gives aid for the people. The hospital situation are very bad. I document more than 86 people dying because there is no device for kidney washing. I document more than 278 cases for forcing girls to manage, and ISIS fighters, most of them are under 18. There is a lot of executions. We document in the last 3 months more than 57 executions and different charges.
Yeah.
You will be executed for anything they will do it.
We have a number of guests I know who I want to ask you questions to quickly. Did you have something?
Yeah, I read your piece in the Guardian, I think it was a week ago. You said that the ISIS control over Raqqa is still pretty solid, that there's no sign that they're losing their grip. Is that still the case today, or do you think that they're beginning to erode their control over the city?
Themselves as well
Yes,
with armed weapons. Lord Jesus Christ commands to love your enemies, but he does not say to allow yourself to be defenseless and mercilessly murdered by terrorists. Stand up, O Christian soldiers of Yahweh. Be united in self-defense against the threat of extermination of the Aramaic-speaking Christians in Iraq by the terrorists. Your survival will benefit the kingdom of Christ, as you help to protect the women and children from genocide. May Yahweh have mercy on the Christians, who fight for their survival in Iraq and around the world. The war is inevitable, and the true nature of Yahweh will be manifested in Iraq and Arbil and Kurdistan. Exodus 15:3. Yahweh is a man of war, Yahweh is his name. Zechariah 14:3. That shall Yahweh go forth and fight against those nations, as when he fought in the day of battle. Satan and demons are behind all wars and battles. The war in Iraq is just a foreshadow of the biggest battle yet to come. Revelation 16:14. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of Yahweh the Almighty. The Islamic State in Iraq and Syria, ISIS, will fulfill the Bible prophecy of Psalms chapter 83 and Ezekiel chapter 38, that the enemy of Israel will come from the place out of the north parts.
Are very
Psalms
terrorist group. They just killing civilians, chasing women, and killing innocent people. So they were shocked in the real life, or what's going on in Iraqi city for real. But if they want to defections from the Islamic State, it's their problem, because the ISIS will take their passports, and from the first day when they will go into the city. So, like I said before to the CNN, the problem is not how to get to the Islamic State or to Raqqa city. The problem how to get out if you want to defections. So most of these guys, or these young guys, I think the ISIS laughing at them, or they think this the real Islamic State or the real caliphate, and because they seeing the women and rape, the young guys and boys dying in Syria, so they think when they are coming,
a lot different than they see in the in the propaganda videos. We're out of time. Abu Ibrahim, we appreciate you talking to us. I want to thank all our panelists tonight. That does it for this special edition of 360.
Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Psalms 83, 17-18. Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth. Ezekiel 38:14. Therefore, Son of man, prophesy and say unto Gog, Thus saith the Master Yahweh, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, shalt thou not know it.
Dad, it's just ISIS.
And everybody's laughing about that sketch from Saturday Night Live. It's more shocking to a lot of people than anything Dakota Johnson does in 50 Shades of Grey. But why shouldn't ISIS be fair game for jokes? Are there some things that you just can't say? And who gets to decide that? I'm going to talk with two men who couldn't disagree more. Plus, caught on camera, Los Angeles police shoot and kill a homeless man that they say tried to grab an officer's gun. But is this a case as simple as it looks? I'm going to talk to an eyewitness. And Benjamin Netanyahu is speaking to Congress tomorrow of President Obama likes it or not. What does the Israeli Prime Minister really want, and will he get it? We're going to get into all of that tonight. Again, thanks for joining us.
Ezekiel 38:21, and I will call for a sword against him throughout all my mountains, saith the Master Yahweh. Every man's sword shall be against his brother. Ezekiel 38:22, and I will plead against him with pestilence and with blood, and I will
You be careful, okay? Dad, it's just ISIS. The assassination of Russian opposition leader and fierce Putin critic Boris Nemtsov.
He was killed because of his political activities, and he was killed because he was Nemtsov.
About 22 seconds after Jones makes the jump, something goes wrong in midair. The 22-year-old who has epilepsy says he blacked out.
You may not have heard. See, I'll be speaking in Congress tomorrow.
As a matter of policy, we think it's a mistake.
Ezekiel 38:23, thus will I magnify myself, and sanctify myself, and I will be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Unquote right now, in the mighty name of Lord Jesus Christ, the Son of Yahweh Elohim, I bind the Satan and every demon of hell, which are released to kill, destroy, and steal from the Christians in Iraq, to be stopped and be bound so as not to harm them through ISIS terrorists. In the name of Lord Jesus Christ, I bind the Satan and the demons of hell, which are working through ISIS, and intending to destroy the nation of Israel, by coming down from the north parts.
Israel, we would never take that position. The world was stunned, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, who then met with President Obama behind closed doors for over 90 minutes. But our commander-in-chief couldn't keep his discuss with Netanyahu a secret. He was caught on open mic speaking with then French President Nicolas Sarkozy about Israel, and according to reports, Sarkozy is quoted as saying, "I cannot bear Netanyahu. He's a liar." Obama's response, "You're fed up with him. I have to deal with him even more than you." And when tensions flared between the Palestinians and Israel last summer, well, the White House did not have Israel's back. Secretary of State John Kerry, he was caught on an open mic before an interview on Fox News Sunday saying this about Israel trying to defend itself. Remember, thousands of rockets at the time were being fired into Israel.
It's a hell of a pinpoint operation. It's a hell of a pinpoint operation.
Right. It's escalating significantly, and it just underscores the need for ceasefire.
We've got to get over there.
All right, the administration, they may think that way, but I went to Israel. I saw firsthand last summer the expansive tunnel network that Hamas built to try and infiltrate Israel and kill its citizens. And the rockets, the Palestinians, they were firing at Israeli citizens, including children near playgrounds. Now, the bottom line, this administration refuses to stand up for our strongest ally. And joining me now with reaction, White House Press Secretary Ari.
Disclaimer. I disclaim from any liability and invoke the fair use policy under Title 17 of the United States Code under Section 107 of the United States Copyright Law that permits limited use of copyrighted material without acquiring permission from the rights holders for any of these purposes, such as teaching, comment, news report, scholarship, and criticism.
Yeah, there have been bad episodes before, but the problem here is they were with American presidents who tended to have Israel's back. In this case, you have a president who deliberately came into office saying that he wanted to put distance between himself and Israel. That way he can negotiate peace with the Arabs and be the man in the middle. What you have instead is a Middle East where both Arabs and Israelis really wonder about Barack Obama and the vacuums that he's created throughout the Middle East that have now been filled by the Muslim Brotherhood and by ISIS. The president's failure to act has led to a much more dangerous Middle East. That's the fear that you're right.
Let's juxtapose this history with Netanyahu and Israel and Obama and compare it to his comments on...
And will never be at war with Islam. And I'm also proud to carry with me the goodwill of the American people and a greeting of peace from Muslim communities in my country. Assalamu alaikum. Islam is not part of the problem in combating violent extremism. It is an important part of promoting peace. Our enemies respect no religious freedom. Al-Qaeda's cause is not Islam. It's a gross distortion of Islam. The future must not belong to those who slander the Prophet of Islam.
Right. What do you make of that? And add to this, we have Obama political operatives right now on the ground in Israel trying to defeat Netanyahu. Biden and Kerry meet with Netanyahu's opponent. And you know where John Kerry is tonight? He's in Geneva. You know where he's meeting with? The Iranian foreign minister.
Let me take the first issue on, squarely and centrally. There is Islamic terror. There is no reason, no way that we should ignore that, forget it, or try to minimize it. And second, Sean, would you have ever thought that the Prime Minister of Israel would have a better relationship with the President of Egypt?
Now with the rise of the extremist group, the Islamic State, the drums of war in Iraq are beating louder and louder in the mainstream press. I'm pleased to welcome our guest Nafeez Ahmed to help us put things in perspective. Nafeez is a best-selling author, investigative journalist, and international security scholar who writes regularly for The Guardian. He has a new novel out called 0 Point, which he says anticipated the Iraq crisis that's going on right now. Thanks for joining us, Nafeez.
Thanks, Jessica.
So Nafeez, there's ISIL, there's ISIS, there's the Islamic State, IS some people are calling it, but they're all the same group, right? Can you sort of give us a sense of the evolution of this extremist group and how they got started?
Well, the origins of the group come from militant groups affiliated to Al-Qaeda that were operating in Iraq and Syria. And that's where it gets murky because, as we know, these groups were kind of engaged in all kinds of militant activity fighting the Assad regime. They were...
All right, and that's the problem. What we really need are tougher sanctions on Iran, and that's how you get an agreement.
You see, I agree with you, and Obama took that off the table. Now we've got mullahs dedicated to...
Here's the big picture, and I'm getting into the news. In their own words, the globalists see humanity as a wild, out-of-control, ugly, deformed scourge of 7.5 billion people that must be controlled, engineered, and prepared to be phased out because the new technologies are coming and the elite are going to live in this Elysium-type, heavenly, Moonraker meets Zardoz world. And again, I know our listeners know that, but we have to get the message of End Game, Blueprint for Global Enslavement, that is already a 7-year-old film, out to everyone. Because that documentary is even more powerful now and freaks people out when they learn it was made in 2007, because just what we said would happen within that time frame happened in the film, and then we go further in the film and tell you what's going to come after that. Because the globalists have a blueprint, and they just tell the unwashed masses that nothing exists. Fluoride's good for you, there's nothing bad in the vaccines, no one's listening to you, no one's tracking you, I love you, welcome to Costco, I love you. To quote Idiocracy.